Do 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 do. Josh's Order Corner.
That's me. Welcome back to another episode of Josh's Horror Corner Book Talk, where we talk about books. It's in the name. Come on, figure it out. And we're going to talk about this one. This is Out There Screaming. It is edited by Jordan Peele. It's an anthology of new black horror. Now, this is a signed edition, so we have Jordan Peele's signature in there. And there's a lot of love-hate dynamics for Jordan Peele in the horror community. I think he was a producer. He wasn't the director of the new Candyman, but he was a producer. He did Get Out. He did Nope. Um, and some others. And I like what he's done. I really enjoy his work. Um, what Us? That was the other one I was trying to think of. I really enjoy his work. But he has a different approach, and I think a lot of horror fans have kind of not been happy with his approach on horror. He also has a nice understanding of horror. Like, he understands the genre. He understands that it takes a lot of different types of horror to really connect with people. And that really shows in this book. Inside of this book, you have a collection of short stories that are from a wide range of different authors covering a wide range of different subjects. And I can't say I loved it. There was some really good bangers in this book, but there was some that I was just like, "Gah," and I think two that I just couldn't finish at all. Read you the synopsis here. The visionary writer and director of Get Out, Us, and Nope curates this groundbreaking anthology of all new stories of black horror, exploring not only the terrors of the supernatural, but the chilling reality of injustice that haunts our nation. I love that about this book. That piece right there. There are some stories in here that really show the dark side of racial tension and historically how people of other races were treated, especially the black community. And I love how they incorporated that into these works, but it's sad that reality has to be so scary that it can so easily translate into horror. A cop begins seeing huge blinking eyes where the headlights of cars should be that tell him who to pull over. Two freedom riders take a bus ride that leaves them stranded on a lonely road in Alabama, where several unsettling somethings await them. A young girl dives into the depths of the earth in search of a demon that killed her parents. These are just a few of the worlds of Out There Screaming, Jordan Peele's anthology of all new horror stories by black writers, featuring an introduction by Peele and an all-star cast of black writers. Out There Screaming is a master class in horror and, like Peele's spine-chilling films, its stories prey on everything we think we know about our world and redefine what it means to be afraid. This anthology features stories by Aaron E. Adams, Violet Allen, Leslie Nika Arma, Maurice Broaddus, Shesia Burke, P. Jelly Clark, Ezra Clayton Daniels, Tenerive Dew, Nalo Hopkinson, N.K. Jemison, Justin C. Key, L.D. Lewis, Nita Okafor, Toshi Odabuchi, Rebecca Roanhorse, Nicole D. Skyornis, that was way off, I'm so sorry, Ryan Amilcar Scott, Terrence Taylor, and Cadwell Turnbull. I know I butchered some of those names, and I am incredibly sorry. Um, the I have no excuse for it. I know I butchered some of the names. Please forgive me. On the reverse flap, Jordan Peele is an Oscar and Emmy award-winning writer, producer, and director, and the founder of Monkey Paw Productions. His debut feature, Get Out, was released in 2017 to widespread acclaim, earning 4 Academy Award nominations and winning Best Original Screenplay for Peele. In 2019, Peele wrote, produced, and directed his second feature, Us, which instantly became a smash hit with audiences and critics alike. posting the largest box office opening for an original horror movie ever. In the summer of 2022, Peele released his third feature, the sci-fi horror epic Nope, which also opened at #1 at the box office. Prior to Get Out, Peele was the co-creator of Comedy Central's Key and Peele. Across 5 seasons, the show's unique take on sketch comedy became a viral sensation online. In 2012, Peele formed his film and television company, Monkey Paw Productions, to champion unconventional storytelling through genre. Now, looking in here at the different stories, I hope they're numbered because I don't remember off the top of my head how many there are. They're not. You got Reckless Eyeball, Eye and Tooth, Wandering Devil, Invasion of the Body of the Baby Snatchers, The Other One, Larcerine, The Rider, The Athlete, Pressure, Dark Home, Flicker, The Most Strangest Oba Woman of the World, The Norwood Trouble, A Grief of the Dead, A Bird Sings by the Etching Tree, An American Fable, Your Happy Place, Hide and Seek, An Origin Story. So what is that, 24 stories? Some were fantastic. Some, like I said, I just couldn't get through. All of them were someone's work. They were someone's pride and joy. So I'm not going to talk shit on them. Just because I didn't like them doesn't mean that you won't. But huge shout out to my boy Spooky Hollows, who also read this one. And I'm pretty sure we shared some similar opinions on it. And though we discussed it a little bit already, I think him and I might have to have a more in-depth one-on-one discussion on our thoughts on this book. I did start including like a star rating on the cover of these. I gave this one 2 stars because the amount of good versus the ones I didn't enjoy was decent. I don't feel it's hard to really rank a collection of short stories because a short story is a small glimpse of someone's talent. Now, there's an art to short stories that some authors really have where they can tell such a impactful story in a short way. Some of the ones that really stood out to me, the Norwood Trouble, it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. A Bird Sings by the Etching Tree was excellent. It might have been my favorite in the book. An American Fable was a good one. It was about a war hero that came back from the war, kind of shunned because he was a black man who fought, and it was like people didn't respect him for having a uniform. And with a lot of these stories, there was like a folklore element to it of, that pieces of the stories really came from some of the tales and stories that were handed down through generations. You get some voodoo, some hoodoo, you get some uh, spirits from Africa that play into it. There's a lot of really interesting parts and pieces that come into play in throughout these stories. Hide and Seek was a good tale of the voodoo and addiction. So looking at other things that happen in society, the addiction really plays a powerful piece to that. Flicker was a great end of the world kind of tale. The Rider was an awesome civil rights movement story. Um, so, like I said, there's some really good ones in here that I think leafing through it and finding them for yourself is a good move. I'll put this on my shelf of signed books because obviously that's what I do with my signed books. And there might be a time where I look back on this one. There's a lot to learn. I think with the approach and the historical experiences, and again, the stories that have been handed down through generations, there's a lot in here that can be enjoyed. There was one story in particular that I really wanted to enjoy, but it struck me as almost a retelling of Shutter Island. And I love Shutter Island. Your Happy Place is what that one was called. Your Happy Place. I love Shutter Island, but Your Happy Place didn't live up to Shutter Island's suspense. So there you go. Out There Screaming, edited by Jordan Peele, an anthology of new black horror to kick off. I mean, it's the 11th, so I don't know how many more horror books I'll be able to read in October, but this one kicks it off. But shit, I could tell you what I plan on trying to finish this month. So I recently picked this up at Cinema Wasteland in Cleveland. John Russo, who was author of Night of the Living Dead, Epidemic of the Living Dead. I grabbed that one from his table. It is signed by the man himself, who Where is it? Right there. To Josh, ghoulishly yours, John Russo. But I think before I crack this one open, to really get that Halloween spirit invoked, I'm going to read X right here by Tim Wagner. Based on the movie, this is the adaptation from the movie, not the other way around, where the movie was based on the book. So we're going to check that one out. Join me. Until next time, read a damn book.
Do 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 do.